Hey, how's it going, everybody? Just thought I'd jump on here and answer some questions that people might have about the show from this past weekend. Let me know if the mic isn't working. I just tested it out. And it was showing it was working, and I figured I'd while I'm kind of going through some things after cleaning up after the show, that I could do a live here and answer questions and talk to y'all. So I'll be moving on and off the screen, so just bear with me. And there's also going to be some content for YouTube, and so then I can post the links in the group, so then Facebook doesn't delete them, or if they do, I can always go back and grab the video and repost the video. So right now I'm just labeling these trays. I've got this one is full of dog ornaments. So this is a design that I made for my ornaments that are in the packages. Kind of see it this way. I talked about it on my live on Sunday morning, and so this will hold quite a few of them in there. And so I alternate the hook that I put on them, alternate them back and forth when I change design. So it makes it easy to identify that this is one design, and then this is another design, and that's a design, that's another design, and so on. You can develop your own system of doing things, but these trays fit perfectly down in 27-gallon totes from Home Depot that I bought, and it keeps them nice and secure and keeps them nice and in order, so I don't just end up with a big old mess of ornaments in the totes. And let's see here, I'm sure I've got, here we go. So they just fit right down in the totes, just like that, and then I can put some flat stock, like some wall art, along the sides and then across the top, because this doesn't quite fill all the way up to the bottom of the lid. I still have a little bit of space in there between the bottom of the lid, and so I'll put flat stock in there, so then I can put other full totes on top. The lid is supported, and then from underneath, because these totes, they get heavy. I mean, you've got several hundred ornaments in there, plus these trays that are made out of 1/4-inch Baltic birch for the outside and the bottom, and then 1/8-inch Baltic birch for the dividers. There's my little puppy dog. That one's Millie. And so they get heavy. And so you want to have something to fill up this space, rather either making like a shallow tray that'll fit on this, that'll go up to the bottom of the lid. Then you can lay ornaments flat. Or if you do wall art, you can put your flat stock in there, design them to fit in there. Oh, those hooks got crossed. To fill up that space, so you don't break the lid. You can see right here, the light red was starting to stress that lid out when I was keeping the trays in the totes and storing them on these platforms here. So just some little tips there for you. So yeah, when we're putting these away, just everybody gets in a hurry and just wants to just get everything off of the racks, into the totes, into the trays, into the totes, and then and so I need to go back through, make sure they're organized and in numerical order, so that it's easy to set up for the next show. I also add a label to the end of it so I can just stack them up here on the platforms and know what's in this tray. So that then I also have made, so those are trays that I designed that are for the ornaments with the packaging. Then I also made hey, good job, Maxine. That's how I store my ornaments as well. Good, wonderful. Great minds think alike, right? And then this is a tray, same outside shape and size, different thickness, because these are for my ornaments that are my backstock. So they are out of the packaging. So then at the end of the shows, I can pull out these trays, pull out my empty ornament packages that I keep from when I sell the ornament, and look at the label on the ornament that I've got. Oh, no, don't mess up. Okay. So then I can look at the label on there, go to my backstock, pull the ornament out, put it in there, and then it's ready to go to hang back up on the pegs at the next show. The way I do that, rather than filling all of the empties and then having to go back through and resort all of the trays with the ornaments in it with the packages, I will just have all of the refills, is what I call them, and I'll put them in a separate tray or a separate tote or something like that, so that after we set up the booth and merchandise all the ornaments in the booth, we can grab that tote, that tray, and just start going through and putting them where they go in the booth, hanging them up on the peg with the other ones. And so that saves a lot of reshuffling the ornaments after we have refilled the packages. But these work great. I was trying to come up with an idea for a divider, and finally settled on just cutting cardboard and printing an extra label and just putting it on the cardboard. There, I don't know if you can focus on that. And because I had tried, engraving it on the cardboard, but it wasn't doing what I was wanting it to do, and then that piece of cardboard was assigned to that one, whereas this one I can peel the sticker off or just put another sticker right on top of it, and my printer prints it off really quickly. So I found that to be easiest. And also the white background on the brown cardboard, and you've got the black text on there, it's easy to read. So that has worked out great. These are slightly taller than the ornament. And you can see if you spin the tops one direction or the other, they stay out of the way of the sticker. So it works out pretty good. That's the bottom of them. You can see that there's a lip under here, because I knew these were going to be heavy. They were going to have a lot of weight, and so I wanted this bottom piece trapped in the sides, and so that's what's sticking through the sides here. I also have, this is for the divider to keep it straight, so this slot is lined up with those slots there. Keeps them all straight, because this 1/8 inch is flexible and it will bend, and so I wanted to make sure that they were straight on there, so it'd be easy to put the ornaments in and out. So how many do I keep in my back stock? So my goal was to have 10 of each of the designs cut, so I could hang 5 on the pegs in the booth and have 5 in the back stock, and that has served me well. Of course, if I'm running out of the back stock or running low on them, I'll cut a few more between shows so that I don't run out at the show. Obviously, I have cut a few more on some of the designs. That's what happens with file management, and you forget to move a file that you've already cut to the completed folder, it stays in your to cut folder, and you cut it twice. So ask me how I know, or just look at my trays, right? So those are the trays. Another thing I did was on the handles, on the ends for the trays for my backstock, I put the handle right in the center. Whereas on the trays for with my ornament, or the ornaments in the packaging, I offset them. So I've got a handle here and a handle here. And so that's another way I can tell just by looking at the end. This one is for packages. The other one in the center is for my backstock. You can also tell by how many columns. I've got 3 columns in here. That's for the packaging. I've got 5 columns with the backstock because they don't take up as much. They're not as wide. They're only a little over 4 inches wide. So there's some, you can tell just by looking at the ends or the edges, the sides, on what is what in the tray. And also, I don't know if you can tell the height difference, but there's a slight height difference too, to account for the packaging. So, and the trays for the ornaments in the packaging is built the same way, with the bottoms being captive in the sides, in the sides and ends. So, and I just used regular Titebond 3 glue for gluing these together, and then I used painter tape to clamp them all together. So spread glue on it, stick them together, and then I just tape all of the edges, so just to hold it together until the glue dries. So they've been holding up pretty well. As long as you don't pick it up and then knock the end on a tote, they're pretty solid. I've got one of the ends is loose, and so I got to find it and put some more glue on it, but I'm still using it, so I'll find it some time. But yeah, these trays have worked out great. They're nice and sturdy, and then I'm able to pull the tray out of the totes. And because last year I didn't have the trays, and I lined the ornaments on the bottom of the totes the same way, alternating the hook tabs, run a row this way, run a row this way, put some in between, and then I put a piece of cardboard on top, and then do the same and put some in between, put another piece of cardboard on top, and then lay some flat on there to fill up the tote. I could get more in the tote. However, to get to the bottom, I'd have to take everything out, keep it in order to get to the bottom one if I needed a particular ornament. So it was just a hassle, and I'm like, I need a better way. Plus, at the end of the shows, we were zip tying, using 4-inch zip ties to zip tie all the designs together so that they would stay together when we put them in the totes. These trays, they stay together. We don't have to do the zip ties anymore, and speeds up tear down a lot faster. And set up, because then we don't have to go through and clip all the zip ties, and at the end of the show, go through and redo all the zip ties. So much manpower wasted doing that. Building the trays saved me so much time on first setup and tear down, and just being able to move the ornaments around and figure out what I need and all of that, what I need to cut and all of that good stuff. So keep asking questions. I am seeing some comments on here. Cut 10 of them, 5 for the rack and 5 for the backstock, and if I run out or run really low on the backstock, then I'll cut a couple more to add to the backstock. If you're having help tearing down, you just got to explain your filing process to whoever is helping you, to make sure that they file the ornaments back into the trays correctly. I was just looking at this tray because had somebody helping out, and now they started at the wrong end, and I got to go through and reorganize it and all of that good stuff. So what other questions do you have? I know it's in the middle of the day. People are probably at work, and I'll get more comments under this. So what else do you have? Let's see here. Had some questions about the jigs that I use. And so I've got these, the ornament, I've got these ornament assembly jigs here that I developed. It's really just a rectangle with your rounded corners on it, and then you just drop an ornament shape in here. It's 3 layers, so you've got this top layer here, then the middle layer, and then you can do whatever shape you want to do for the back side. I mean, really for either side. It's just dropping whatever shape is most common to you using, and just cutting it out. I did apply 3M on the back of this layer and this layer so I could stick it on. You don't want to put it on both sides of your middle layer, because then you'll have 3M here and 3M here, defeating the purpose. When you stick an ornament in there, then they are stuck together. Anyways, and so you'll want to put some holes in here so that you can push the ornament out, rather than you're just banging it on the counter there, or the table, trying to get it out. You want to have some holes on there to push them out. And so that's why I like the ornaments to be the 4-inch round, and all of my backs are the 4-inch round, so they all fit together. So Dawn asked, what are the most popular ornaments? Dogs have been the most popular ones, hands down. Usually in shows, I'll sell, half the ornaments that I sell will be dogs. The other half will be all the other ones that I have in the booth. I take, this year it's about 3,000 ornament tops and about 1,800 or so ornament backs. With me, I've got 70 some different colors of backs that I take. Most of those are acrylic, because it's just cut and wipe some stuff off and put them in the bags. There's no prep work. I don't have to spray paint, don't have to apply clear coat or anything like that. It's just really simple cut. They are expensive, but people love them. They love all the different color options. And the acrylic backs are more popular than my painted backs. So I do have military, first responders, cats, some of the sports, the states, alphabets, the alphabet monograms, tiny tots, faith and hope, memories and milestones, Christmas puns. I think I've got the holiday ones on there too. So I've got a lot of different ornament tops, and I haven't done national park ornaments. I'll probably pick a few of those and try those out, see how they go, see if people start asking for more different parks. Then I'll go ahead and just do all of those. Since those are 2-layer ornaments, I'll do the top layer, I'll do it natural, I'll stain the second layer, and then I'll allow them to grab on ornament back, and we'll put them together that way. So I'll try those out, see how they go. I did have some sports that were asked for that I didn't have there, so another one of my goals is to cut all of the sport ornaments and take those. That's like another, 70 or 100 different ornaments, different designs to take. Because I take both male and female. So, yeah. All right. Do you sell... let's see here. Dawn said, do all that you sell have the personalization option that you engrave? Is that what's being requested? Okay, so I do... yes, the only ones that I cut can be personalized. I've got the F1 that I take to the show, set up with my jackery. And so that is part of the selling point, to be able to personalize on site. And people love it. I've had them say, just shut up and take my money. So 3M cost per ornament is $1 Canada or $1.60 US pretty much cost prohibiting. Yeah, I buy the 3M in the 12-inch rolls. And I just had a spider land in there. Oh, that's cool. And so it is expensive, but it's so much easier than gluing. Oh, there we go. Got him. Got the spider. Itsy bitsy spider. Sorry. It is expensive, but I found that I was spending almost as much money on doing CA glue. And then I had to squirt it on all these little pieces on the back, and that would just take way too long. And then the smell at shows, doing indoor shows, people would just be. I found it's faster to just peel paper off, especially if you've got fingernails or tweezers handy to help take the paper off. And it's a cost of doing business. So 3M tape is $1 Canada per hour. So if you get it in the 12-inch by 60-yard rolls, then it helps with the cost savings. So I apply it to the back of the entire sheet before I break the sheet down to fit into my laser. Yeah, making sure those are in order. And so I get it for like $170 a roll. At least I was last year. And look for Black Friday sales, especially if you don't have time to build your inventory this year and you're planning on building it over, the spring and the summer, then you can hit up the Black Friday sales and get some good deals on stuff. So I cashed in on a bunch of acrylic and saved 30% buying it on Black Friday. Along with got some good deals on some 3M adhesive also. I've got 3 or 4 extra rolls of it, plus some over there too. So ornament price. Okay, Maxine $270 Canada for the same roll. So I'm using 3M 467 MP. I know that one's cheaper than the 3M 300, I think it is. And so I was having problems with the 3M 467 not sticking or wanting to peel off of the back of the ornament. And so I started sanding the back of the sheet before I put the 3M on it, and that solved that problem. So I sanded with my random orbit sander to either 180 grit or 220 grit, depending on what I have here in the shop. And of course, blow the dust off or vacuum the dust off, whichever, so that you don't have the dust between the wood and the adhesive. That will play a factor in adhesion. So pricing, I did a few shows when I priced them at $23.95. For the last 3 years or so, I priced them at $19.95. Yes, I know it's just under $20, but people don't hear $20; they hear $19.95. And so I decided to increase my prices this year to $23.95. Thought that would be fine. Did a few shows, sold okay. But then the show before last, the sales were down from the previous year, so I decided to drop my prices back down to $19.95, and I sold 25 ornaments in the last 2 hours of the show. So I'm like, okay, well, apparently I need to keep them at that. Had them at that same price for the show this past weekend, and didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do, but that could be, but that could have been the building that I was in, because the show was in 4 buildings. I was in a smaller building, so that may have played a part in it. Location of my booth could have played a part in it, not being on an end cap or having a corner may have played a part in it. government shutdown or the economy. You know, there's a myriad of reasons why sales weren't what I expected. So I don't know. I'll try it again next year. That was my first time doing that show. So I'll try it again next year. I'll get a corner and try a different building and see how we do. Go from there. Might try a different town also, because they have that show in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa. So I'm doing a live right now. And so we'll see. Yeah. Okay, do I offer bulk pricing? I've done 5 or more, get 10% off. So you could do 2 for $35 if you want to do that. And just bring people in. Or if you've got some designs that have been hanging around and haven't selling, you could put those on sale. You know, this rack, 20% off or whatever, sale, whatever. So just play with the pricing and see how it goes. Okay, so F1 jigs. I like keeping all of my ornaments the same shape for several reasons. 1, all of the packaging is the same. 2, all of the backs are the same. 3, the assembly jigs are universal, and then the F1 jigs are also universal. So I use this for doing the 4-inch round ornaments because they just fit right in there. I have these 3 layers of 1/8 inch, so this is 3/8 of an inch. The reason I do that is because if I just did 2 layers, then when I have this in the F1, this would be raised up just a little bit and it wouldn't be flat and not have a good engrave. So I just added another layer under here so that this sticks above the base of the F1. And I've got this jig dialed in on light burn, because I use light burn for my big laser. And so you spend time in your off season dialing in these jigs and it'll pay off dividends during the show season. So I can put this on there, and then I'll go into my art library, pull this ornament, drop it into here on light burn, and then I know where I can place my text. Of course, I'll use framing just to make sure it's in the right spot, and that I've grabbed the right ornament, because I grabbed the wrong ornament one time and it was like way up here when it needed to be down here. I'm like, oh, wait a second, wrong design. Go and grab the right one. So make yourself jigs, repeatability, speed, and all of that good stuff. Then also made this one. Since I don't engrave directly onto the dog ornaments, I engrave onto the tag, and then I stick this one. It has 3M on the back of it. Oh well. And so then I'll just peel the paper and stick it right on the front of it. And that has worked out great. And then that way, if you mess up on this name, you can toss it. It literally costs you a half a penny, maybe. So I'll just toss it and grab another one and put it in there. However, fun fact, the first responder name tags, they are not all the same size. So you can see there's some play in there on that one. So they are not all the same size. And that was part of one of my projects last year, was to make them all the same size, but I didn't do that. Yeah, and then this one is for the medical name tags. This one down here obviously is for the dog name tags without the icons that I don't sell anymore of, because I like the detail of the icons around, or at least on the ornaments. Makes them look, I think it makes them look more valuable, so then I can charge a higher price for them. Yes, it takes a bit longer to cut them out, but I like the end result. And my customers don't have the option of the without icons, so they don't know. Okay, settings to engrave on the F1. Let me go over to Lightroom and look real quick. Yeah, I don't have any advice for XCS because I don't use XCS. I just use Lightburn. So sorry. Let's see here. But I'm sure that you could set XCS up to do the same thing. Set your jigs up in XCS. Okay, so I've got for engraving, I've got speed of 125 and power of 100. It's a small laser. Just put it up to 100 and go. I did accidentally run it on like 50% power one time, and it wouldn't even mark it. So just put it up to 100 and you'll be good. However, I have noticed that when you engrave the wings and halo on the name tag, you've got to go over the wings and halo like a total of like 3 or 4 times to get it dark enough to see, because there's such a small engraving area on there. So there's that little tidbit. So I'll usually pull the wings and halo on there, adjust the name tag, get those centered up in there, have them on the same layers, and then I'll group them, so then it'll engrave the name and the halo and the wings at the same time. Then while I was doing that, I'll ungroup it and I'll grab the name, drag it off, and then just rerun the wings and halo like 2 or 3 more times until it's dark enough to see. So there's another little fun fact there that I have come across. So all of my ornaments are made out of 1/8 inch Baltic birch plywood. And so I can get it locally at a good price, and I can get 210 ornaments out of a single 5x5 sheet of plywood. So that helps keeps the cost of these pretty low. And another reason for going with the 12-inch wide 3M is because a 5 foot by 5 foot, you need 5 strips of the 3M to sheet the whole back of it. So that's what I'll do. I'll sand both sides, blow the dust off, put 3M on the one side, and then I'll cut it down to the size that fits in the laser, that I can get maximum ornament yield out of it. And then before I put it in the laser, I will spray it with 2 coats of this finish, and I'm sure I can get a different finish and be cheaper, but I don't want to have a spray system, and so I just buy a bunch of rattle cans at about $6 to $7. 6, 7. Sorry. I've got an 11-year-old daughter, and so I'll use this. I like the gloss on it, the high gloss, and I think it makes it look good. And then so I'll spray the sheet after I've cut it down to size to fit into the laser, and then I'll spray 2 coats of this on it. After the first coat, I'll hand sand the sheet down with 3000 grit sandpaper that I buy off of Amazon for really cheap. I also use that to do the final sanding on the cutting boards that I build and sell to customers, or other business owners rather. So I've got it here in the shop. Makes it buttery smooth. Then I'll spray a second coat on it, and then if it's still feeling a little rough, then I'll sand it again. Then I'll wait a couple of days to let it fully dry and cure before I put it into the laser, and then that's what it looks like when it comes out. I will get overburn on it. I don't mask because I don't want to have to peel the masking off. And so with the overburn around the letters and stuff, I will use these crocodile wipes, industrial crocodile wipes. You can get them off of Amazon or Home Depot, and I'll use this to wipe the sheet down. So I'll run the score and engrave layers, first, and then the machine will shut off because I'll only send those 2 layers to the laser. I'll wipe it down with this before I've cut anything. Makes it super fast and it's easy. And then I will run the cut layers, the black and the blue layers, and then which will cut it out. And so then it comes out looking like this. This will take some of the sheen off of it, maybe a little bit rough, but you can just grab some more of that sandpaper and just wipe it a couple of times, and it may tarnish it just a little bit, but that's fine. This is high gloss already, so tarnishing it a little bit will take the sheen down just a little bit, so not bad. And then having that high gloss on there allows the overburn to just wipe right off. It works out slick, so then you're not cutting these and then making a jig to sand every single one of them and then having to apply finish to every single one of them individually. So much faster to pre-finish your sheets and then cut it. And in fact, here's one of my smaller off-cut sheets from my bigger sheets that has 2 coats of the clear coat on it. So if I'm staining a layer, I'll stain it and then I'll apply finish clear coat to it before I cut it. So and the painted ornament backs, I'll spray the paint on there. I don't have to apply finish a clear coat to it, but I do so that I can wipe the overburn off. Makes it really simple. Hope those tips help, and I can post some links to these crocodile wipes and to the clear coat finish that I get off of Amazon, if that would be helpful. So but yeah, what other questions do you have? Yeah, as much prep work as you can do before the show will aid in the show and how well you do and speed and all of that. So I have found that engraving on the ornament itself is a little bit time consuming, and we were getting backed up when I had a customer come through and they're wanting like 3 or 4 of the ornaments that I had to engrave individually, because one, you've got to pull the file, you got to pull this design out of your art library. That's why building your art library is very helpful at shows. Then you don't have to go looking through all of your folders to grab the design and pull it into Lightburn or XCS, whichever you're using, or whatever software you're using. So building your art libraries in the off season will pay off dividends. And so it was just time consuming to go grab that file out of the art library, which is still fast, line it on here, get the text, line the text up, and get it centered and looking right, and then, you know, framing it, and then go. And then passing the ornament to, you know, your helper or whoever, or then peeling the paper off to stick it onto the back. Whereas with these ones, and just engraving the name tag, your helper or you, while it's engraving, can be peeling the paper while the laser's going and sticking it to the back. And then that part's done. Then when the name tag is done, you just take the name tag off, pull the paper off, and stick it on. So that speeds things up or slows things down a little bit. But it worked out great. Also, going back to the jigs, having several of these jigs available helped out with us, because we could just have 3 of them laying on the table there. We could put, you know, take the back out, set it there, and set the, you know, keep them organized while you're making multiples of the ornaments. And then whenever the name tag was engraved, I'd just take the name tag and I'd set it on that jig with the dog that it went with. So then there wasn't any mismatching the tops with the backs, with the name tags, with the tops, all that stuff. So I take 4 of these to my shows, and we used 3 of them this past show. So when it has gotten busy, we have pulled all 4 of them out. So yeah. Oh, I just had a thought for a table to work at, have your laser on. I found a 2-foot by 6-foot table on Amazon for, I think, $75 or $80. We were using a 2-foot by 4-foot, but that wasn't as stable, and then there wasn't as much room for the laser to be on one end of it, and then having a couple people helping with assembling the ornaments. And then there was not as much hiding space underneath. We have used a 2.5-foot by 6-foot table, but then that just sticks out a little, you know, like another 8 inches past your pack out gear that you're house your that I house my laser in. And so it was just so getting the 2-foot table has worked out great, and then you're not sticking as far out into your booth, taking up space. So it's worked out great, and it was like $75 or $80. So I like it. Hey Blake, how's it going, man? Looking forward to coming up and spending the day with you next month, and you and David Brown. So good to see you on here. Thanks for stopping by. And if you got anything to add, go ahead and type it into the comments. So appreciate it. But yeah, as much as systems as you can develop in your off season to help with the shows and speed, the better. So the better results you'll have at shows. So it's been fun, and we've enjoyed it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but we've enjoyed it, and we had a good show last weekend. So does anybody have any other questions? I'm gonna grab some water. Oh, another thing. If you have a bunch of different backs that you take to shows, you know, kind of like 70 different colors, making these little color chips of the ornament, or of the ornament backs that you have, and then organizing these on your grid wall is so much easier than taking the backs out of the trays, putting them up and going, oh, I don't like this look, and rearranging them. Then you can just rearrange these color samples, and then you can have one of your helpers go, all right, match them up, put the ornaments where the backs are at. So that has helped out quite a bit also, because I usually have my 11-year-old put these backs up on the grid wall. So also having like a planogram, which I need to develop one for my booth, so that you know where everything is going, will speed things up immensely. And my planogram is going to include how many of that collection I have, and how many pegs on the wall that I've got to deal with. So just to make setup a lot easier, so you're not like, oh, well, let's see here, I don't know how many is in that collection. Trying to look in your trays or look on your inventory sheet or whatever can be a hassle. And we found having a planogram beforehand, so you know what goes where, so you can just grab the trays that already have a label on the end, so you know what's in it. You go, okay, this is going to go about right here. These trays are going to go over here. So fun fact, all of the dogs, all 165 designs of the dogs, if you do grid wall, do 4 columns, 6 rows, it'll take up 7 panels, almost pretty much 7 panels. You'll have a couple empty hooks at the bottom after the Yorkies that are empty, but plan on 7 panels. And then the because you can get 24, I get 24 ornaments per panel. Panels are 2 foot wide, and and then the cats take up the other end cap. So I usually have a display that's 6 feet, 2 feet, and so dogs take those up, and then cats take up the end one, and then we drop the 25th breed down on the front side or the back side of it with the dogs. So anyways, I've talked quite a while and rambled, and hope y'all got some stuff out of it. If you got any questions, go ahead and type them in there, and I'll do my best at answering them. I am getting, okay, so these F1 jigs, I bought this off of Amazon. I've had this question a couple times. I bought this off of Amazon basically for the shape, so I wouldn't have to figure out the radii on these corners. It was like $5. I'm like, yeah, I'll spend $5 to get the shape, not have to figure it out. And then I just put the other shapes that I wanted on the layer. So pretty simple to figure that out. And then got the files for these listed on my website. I just threw it up there real quick last night to get something up there. I've got to shoot some pictures of these so you can actually see what it is. But I've got the file on there, and you are able to purchase it if you would like. I'll have the physical jig up there on another listing. I've got several of them already pre-made, ready to just ship out same day, and I can do that for you guys if you don't have the ability to cut your own. So I did make them out of 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. So if you cut 1/4 inch, that'd work, or you can just do layers of 1/8 inch. So, but anyways, I hope that's been a help. I hope I haven't rambled too long, and we shall see you later. Take care. Bye.